All right, today we're going to talk about how to navigate tabs. So as you can see, I have a number of different tabs open here in my Chrome browser. And the important thing to remember here is how to do a right click on a mouse pad. To do that, just use two fingers and click the mouse pad. That's basically the same thing as doing a right click with a mouse. And let's say I want to mute a tab. In the drop-down menu, which you'll see in a second, they call it mute site, but it's the same thing as muting a tab. So let's say I'm doing a lesson on Martin Luther King Jr. and I have the I Have a Dream speech, and maybe I just want to mute it momentarily to make a quick point to my kids, but I don't feel like I need to stop the whole video. I just right click on the tab, I scroll down to mute site, I hit it, and it's going to mute the sound. And you can tell it's muted because there's a little cross mark through the speaker there. If I want to unmute it, just right click again and go down to unmute site, and it will unmute it. The next thing we'll talk about is how to reopen a tab that you may have accidentally closed. So let's say you're going through your tabs and whoops, little slip of the finger there, and you close a tab. You don't need to Google search it to get the tab up again. Just right click on the another tab, hit reopen close tab. And once you do that, that tab that you closed is going to reappear. No need to do another search. Another really important tool, or maybe not important, but just handy, is how to duplicate a tab. So there's good old Infinite Campus. And when I do Infinite Campus, I oftentimes like to have the roster and the gradebook up at the same time. And instead of having to navigate, within Infinite Campus, I can just right click and duplicate the tab, which I just did. And now I have two of those Infinite Campus tabs up. So I can have the gradebook and the roster up at the same time like I want to. And let's say you're trying to go for a less cluttered appearance. I have all these open tabs. It's looking a little cluttered there. If I right click on a tab and hit pin tab, you can see it kind of shrinks it. I can still tell what it is. I see the YouTube signal there. I see the WeVideo signal. But it just looks a little less cluttered. This can be really handy if you have, 10, 15 tabs open, which sometimes people do. If I want to unpin it, I just right click on the tab I want to unpin, hit unpin tab, and it goes back to its normal appearance. Another handy tool when navigating tabs is being able to close multiple tabs at one time. So let's say I don't need these tabs to the right of the Infinite Campus tab. If I right click and I go down to close tab to the right, it's going to close all of the tabs to the right. As you can see, I'm pointing to them right now. I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit close tabs to the right, and they're all going to go away. If I want to reopen them, I just follow the same process as we did earlier to reopen a closed tab. Only minor inconvenience here is that to reopen them, you have to continually right-click on the new tab that just reopened to reopen the next one. So you can see I'm going to have to do this a couple times to get all the tabs open. Not a big deal, just a minor inconvenience, but something to keep in mind. The next thing I'll show you is how to bookmark multiple tabs. So let's say I have these tabs open. I want them all bookmarked. Just right click on a tab, go down to bookmark all tabs, and I'm going to have them all bookmarked at that point. When I go to my bookmarks menu, there they'll be. So that's nice and handy. You don't have to do it individually for all the tabs. And the last thing we'll talk about today with navigating tabs is how to drag one tab over to another. So let's say I want my Google Drive tab next to my Gmail tab. I'm just going to go ahead and drag the Google Drive tab over. Nice and handy. I like to have those two next to each other. Okay, Boulder High, I hope you found this helpful.